EHAS Club presents Stories to Create podcast, where the tales of our guest stories take you back to the early years where the story first got created. Now, to help create this story, here's your host, Mr. Cornell Bunting.
Yes, welcome everyone. As you heard, my name's Cornell Bunting, and welcome to another episode of Stories to Create podcast right here in EHAS Club. And here we actually tell stories and we tell the tale of the stories. And I'm telling you, this episode, guys, you guys going to be excited because we're going to create it in such a way where we're doing it with an actual movie director. Big deal, people. So what I can say with our guest this week, he's the president of A38 Films, also a visionary, published author, and entrepreneur. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Antwon Lindsey. My guy.
Hey, what's up, man?
We here, man. How you been, man?
I've been well, man.
Man, 2022 been a busy year for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it was definitely a very, very busy year.
Man,
For sure.
you had a big documentary came out that addressed some stuff. What was the reason behind launching that in 2022?
So it wasn't an official launch.
Okay.
We're kind of getting it out there for folks to be able to see that it's coming.
Right.
It's the reason behind it was just generally my own experiences growing up and seeing what other people in the communities are going through. The documentary Hush, help a documentary on Black mental health.
Right.
Just to really talk about the things that we go through as a community and have been through and what it is that we can do to transform some of that suffering.
Okay.
So, we're in a space where a lot of people are suffering and aren't able to speak up about it, whether it's, socially or even financially, they don't have the means to.
Right.
How do we help them have their voice?
So I like that, man. So now we want to take the listeners back to the young Antwon.
Sure.
What's the culture?
Culture is Liberty City, 90s, early 2000s.
Okay. Where is Liberty City?
Liberty City, Miami.
Miami.
Yeah, so Liberty City, Miami. So, it's vibrant, a lot of fun, parties, sports, things like that.
Okay.
And it was, people think violence a lot, but that didn't really happen until, I would say, late 2000s. And from my experience growing up, that's when it started happening.
Man, so the 90s was beautiful for you.
Yeah, it was nice. It was sweet. I was a kid.
Yeah.
No responsibility. Just go outside. You better not come back in.
Yeah.
Come back in, you stay in.
Man, so talk on that a little bit, because, a lot of the youths now, they're all into the devices. So what was that like about outside, man?
Man, for me, being outside, I used to love being outside. I used to just lay in the grass and look at the sky and really just enjoy being out there and falling asleep outside. It was something very deeply connecting about being outside versus being inside and, having to sit down and watch the TV show that your grandma and your mama didn't want to watch. I couldn't do that. I'd rather be outside and just create some sort of experience for myself.
Right. Man, that is beautiful, man. This time, like in the 90s, what would you say was the thing, like the thing that everyone was about?
I think it was probably two things: cartoons and pool parties.
Pool parties.
Yeah. For me, growing up in Miami, it's pool parties, jams. Especially parties just in general. People go out and dance and have fun. Got the big old loud speakers out there, and that's really what I saw growing up.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
Yeah.
And it was very festive, I would say.
Ooh.
There was a lot of culture, a lot of community. You didn't really, again, being young, you didn't really hear about this person, something bad happened to this. It was a lot of good stuff happening.
Yeah.
From what I can remember.
Now they say a lot of different countries are in Miami. What was some of those different culture that you got a chance to interact with?
So growing up in Liberty City, Miami, literally confined to that community.
Yeah.
So there wasn't much integration as far
Oh,
as cultures in Miami. So you might have, and even early on, Haitian immigrants
yeah.
weren't seen, quote unquote, as black enough. Jamaicans weren't, quote unquote, seen as black enough. It's just like the Rastafarians, they, smoke marijuana, things like that.
Yeah.
But black culture in Miami was a whole different breed of its own. Even, delineating between the different portions of Miami, like you got Liberty City, Carol City, Overtown,
Yeah.
Brownsville area. All of those different places were legit, like their own tribes in itself.
Right.
So different norms, and they're probably like 5 miles away from each other.
Oh man.
Literally, it's like going into an entirely different world.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What was the food like?
The food was, was amazing. You got, if we talking parties, the typical Black hood parties, kids get the poke and beans and and hot dogs and chips.
Yeah.
With the quarter juices, and adults had the barbecue chicken, ribs. Thanksgiving, holidays, you got the staple Black American food items.
Right.
Real good, always good.
Man.
Then it eventually somehow it transitioned to a lot of people going to get like the the seafood dishes, had like a snappers, or nowadays they got the licking down there.
What do you call it? The licking?
Yeah, it's called the licking. I haven't been to it, but
wow.
A lot of people go to it and get like seafood boils or something like that, or like lobster tails.
So is it an event or a store?
The licking?
Yeah.
Is a restaurant.
Oh, it's a restaurant. Okay. You guys hear that? When you down here in Miami, you got to go check that out. So, because where we are now is a little bit north of Miami.
Yeah.
I think we're about 2 hours drive.
Yeah, 2 hours. What is it? North?
Yeah.
West.
Northwest. Because we're in what? Southwest. We're in Southwest Florida. So, with you like schools and stuff like that, what was school coming up, man?
School, it was great, man. Elementary school was definitely a space where I enjoyed it a lot. I was in the arts programs in elementary school. Had a lot. I still got a lot of good friends from elementary school that I still communicate with. Middle school was a little bit different. That's when things started to transition. So it being more so, we out here, we doing something different than what we was doing 2 years ago.
Right.
And middle school, it just became more so about like the social environment.
Okay.
If you weren't doing this, then you aren't really cool.
Okay.
And so a lot of us, again, like I say, the middle school I went to wasn't in my actual neighborhood. So there was a middle school in my neighborhood that I didn't go to. I went to a different middle school in a different neighborhood, but it was still in the Black community.
Right.
And because they had their different norms over there, we sort of acclimated to the people that were over there and picked up a lot of different things and built friends there as well. But over there, it was different. So
yeah, man. So you mentioned you started arts from that time, that early, man.
Yeah.
What made you wanted to do arts that young, man?
Just exposure from my mom. Yeah. Like she was always writing and things like that, and and it's just something that I enjoyed it. It was something where, reading, math, all those different things, good at it, but with art, I was able to just express what it was that I saw in my mind, put it down, and be able to just look at that like, wow, I created that.
Yeah.
So that's what really got me into it early.
So you followed that all the way.
Yeah.
All the way.
Yeah.
Wow. Man.
I still talk to my elementary school art teacher.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Like, that man there he's one of the precursors to it. Like seeing, in fact, he was Jamaican.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. He was a Jamaican brother in there. And he wouldn't play with us.
Right.
Like when he knew you were good,
oh
man, you couldn't sit in the back.
Yeah.
You had to come to the front of the class, and you had to get your work done so he can show other people how to do it.
Oh, wow.
And so that was one of the things, like, subconsciously, I'm thinking like, oh man, he don't want me to sit back here with my friends, but it's like, no, you're good at this.
Yeah.
Hurry up and get this done so I can show them who's taking forever to do it, how to get it done. And then I would go around the class helping people, do things. And,
Man, so you had kind of made it to where you were like the lead student.
Yeah, it was a few of us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, man. So then, moving to high school, was that still down there in Liberty City?
As far as like the arts and things?
Yeah, and going
so, like I said, the late 2000s, that's when it really transitioned from like, we were kids to like the community just kind of took a shift.
Right.
And it was like, well, now we're starting to see people pass away through violence. Now we're starting to see, from my perspective of me growing up, drugs being introduced to teens and things like that, and gambling and all these different kind of things. Right. And so it just took a sharp left.
Man.
And I'm on this, on this road with them because my family members are around, and you sometimes you just become a product of the environment. Right. And so I hit this curve with them, and it's like, oh, we over here now. Yeah. And it's just high school, my freshman year, really. Yeah. It was just a whole entirely different, different space for me that I had ever been in my life. Right. And so it was unique.
So you were getting ready to possibly shift from that space.
Yeah, I was getting ready to get myself into a whole lot of trouble.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Being around some of the wrong people.
Right.
But I had a few incidents where I was with the wrong people, and things happened where I realized this ain't where I need to be at. Right. Because if this is what y'all about to do, I know what comes with this. There's only 3 things that's coming with this. Yeah. And, I don't want either one of them.
Right.
So I made that change my 10th grade year of high school. Okay. Where I ended up having to go to. So my 9th grade year of high school, pretty much failed 9th grade, had a 1.6 GPA. Mm-hmm. Being around some of the wrong people, things like that. And I ended up having to go to night school and summer school. Wow. And going to night school and summer school and seeing some of the folks who I was in there with. Yeah. And I'm doing my work in 15 minutes and it's taking them an entire week to get the assignments done. Right. I was like, yeah, I can't do this. No. Like I'm not supposed to be in here. What are you doing, Antwon? Man. And that challenged me to kind of get my stuff together. And the next year, straight honor roll, sitting back into the front of the classes. I don't need nobody to tell me anymore. I'm going to sit up in the front. Yeah. And I'm going to get my work done.
Yeah. Wow. So you sound like you were capable of all that stuff. It was just that friends were occupying your time with other stuff.
Yeah. So, like I say, sometimes it's the product of the environment. Yeah. Being around guys and it for me, it wasn't necessarily all of the people. It's like, I got a homie that's friends with these guys. Oh, okay. But this is my guy right here. Right. I'm with him. Yeah. And now we in this stuff. It's like, nah, man, I'm not about to do this. No. Then I got my cousins making fun of me because I'm in situations, and they're like, ain't nobody tell you to go around. I'm like, listen, I wasn't with them. Yeah. I was with him. Yeah. Like, this is my guy. Yeah. Not with those other guys.
Oh, man. So did you do college down there as well?
So I did 2 years at Miami-Dade College. Okay. So when I graduated high school, did 2 years at Miami-Dade, and then I transferred to Florida Gulf Coast University after 2 years.
Oh, okay. But you still connect with everyone down there in Miami?
Yeah, my whole family, everybody's still down there.
Oh, okay. And then, so you did the arts at Florida Gulf Coast as well?
So no, I ended up, so I transitioned out of the arts 7th grade year.
Oh, okay.
So I chose to do it was either it was something to do medical magnet or PE gym class, and I was like, more work over going outside. Yeah, I'm going outside.
Going outside. Gym.
Yeah, I just kind of went away from that. Even in high school, I did have television production, culinary arts. In high school, so I was still kind of involved with the arts. Okay. But when I went to college, I got a degree in environmental studies. Yeah. And then after that, I went ahead and got my master's in public administration.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. And you kind of pursued that out of school.
Yeah. Okay. So I pursued it out of school.
Man, so when did it hit you like, you know what, man, I gotta tap back into my creative mind and get back into creating my art and stuff like that?
It was when I was a teacher back in 2016. Okay. A lot of kids, there was a portion of of school where it was called Dear Reading Time. It's drop everything and read, and kids were not reading. Like, they would just take that time to take a nap.
Right.
And I had been through a lot of different experiences. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to create something where they'd be able to relate to it. So I started writing my first book. I wrote the first few chapters and I let the kids read it. And they were like, yo, like, are you done with this?
Yeah.
Like, is this can't be the whole book. I was like, nah, you know, I'm just kind of getting started. And they were really engaged in it.
Okay.
And so I decided that, you know what, during the spring break of work that time, let me just go ahead and sit down and knock out this book.
Yeah.
And when I did that, it just sort of accelerated something in me. And prior to that, my great grandmother had passed away, and she would always tell me, "Oh, you're gonna do something great and this and that," and just tell me a whole lot of good things about myself. And even my grandma, now my grandma Shorty, that's her nickname, Grandma Shorty.
Grandma Shorty.
Grandma Shorty, yeah. We would talk, and she would, you know, pour a lot of good things into me, and I just say, you know what, you know, I have a son, and I want to do something that, you know, maybe he looks at it and say, wow, my dad did this when he was this year, you know, when he was this age.
Yeah.
Well, what can I do?
Right.
And so I took that and I created the book, and then it just kind of opened the door for me to really just say, you know what? I like telling stories.
Yeah.
I miss this.
Yeah.
And I just hopped right back into it.
Man. So you do some poetry stuff as well. What was the one piece that in your head you would say stuck out to you that you really had to tell it in the way you did?
There's a piece, it's called Love, and it's actually in my my film Color of Love. So I wrote the poem and then I made a movie out of the poem.
Wow.
And so it just talks about just the different concepts of love, you know, and how love is sort of like art. You got many different perspectives, different ways that you can be able to portray it.
Right.
And it's not always clear,
right.
You know, sometimes of how you get there. And everybody has their own perception of what love is.
Right.
And that's one of the pieces that really that I really regard as like one of my better pieces, because like I say, when you read it, you get to it intertwines both worlds, right? The poetry and the idea of being an artist, a painter, right? Right. And how you can, you know, a different brush will create a different sort of stroke, or, you know, different paints, different types of paints will create different types of things. And that's sort of how love is. What we learn or what we, you know, inherit from our families, right? We get all of these different ideas and concepts about what the idea of love is, that ultimately creates how we see it and we perceive it. Right. And someone else, and from a different perspective, will see love different as well.
Would you say because of the many different levels of perception of love is why the mass misunderstands it? Yeah,
I think that's truly it. To me, and my understanding, love is a certain quality. Right. Love is just all of the wonderful and pleasantness that you have in you. Right. It's not something that you really give to someone or take. It's just something that you share, right. And you don't have to worry about if it's coming back or not. Right. It's just, these are the qualities in me that I have within me. I'm just sharing with you. Right. Whether you receive it or not, that has nothing to do with me. Yeah. I'm just sharing with you what I have.
Right. So it's up to you to take it if you want it.
Exactly.
That's a beautiful thing, man. Then you decided you wanted to do a documentary. That what was the headspace like? You know, like even wanting to, because that's a challenging world. Yeah. You know, so what was the mindset like? You know, going into that space and saying, okay, this is how I want to create this and capture these moving parts.
So going into creating a documentary, bro, it was something I had never done before. Right. I had done 2 different films. I did Reticent, Because Black Boys Can't Cry, which is a short film. Then I did Color of Love, right. Which is also a short film. Yeah. And then deciding to do Hush. Funny enough, Hush was the first film idea that I had ever conceptualized. Oh, okay. And I conceptualized this back in 2017. Oh, okay. And so not doing it because I knew, well, I got to get some experience first. And so I got the experience of creating my own films. You know, there's a lot of stories about, you know, guys or gals going out and let me go and PA and do this for these people. And then they talk about how it was a bad experience. I didn't get what I wanted. I wasn't directing this and that. I said, why go through all of that when I could just create the experience myself?
Right.
Be the director, be the writer, learn how to write scripts.
Right.
And then so going into creating a documentary, I had gained that experience by doing it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And not to say that I'm a genius or perfect at it, and there's a lot of things that I can continue to learn. I will continue to learn.
Right.
But I knew enough that I knew that I could do this documentary.
Right.
And so I had another film that I wanted to do, but the documentary was just, it was the energy was like, you know, you got to do this, man.
Right.
Because it's what you've experienced in your life.
Yeah.
And what better way to connect to people than to, you know, immerse your experience of life with this film that's going to tell a story that many other people can possibly relate to and probably find some sort of transformation through.
Right.
And so that's the space that I was in. And I said, you know what, let me go ahead and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this documentary.
Who would you say is that director that inspired you right now?
That inspires me? I'm not really sure. I'll say there's a director that inspires me. To be honest, I inspire me through what I have to learn.
Right.
But some of the directors who, when I look at them, you know, I won't say even encourage, but I just admire. Mm-hmm. I admire what they're doing.
The work, yeah.
Yeah, I admire their work because I don't really know what they go through to get there.
Right.
So I can't really say that I'm truly inspired by them.
Right.
But I admire the work that they're doing.
Right.
Ryan Coogler, a producer, instead of a director, Will Packer, even Tyler Perry, some of the things that he's doing.
Right.
You know, and there's a Keenan Ivory Williams Wayne, is an individual too that he's a little bit further back, but I look at some of the things that they did and it's like, man, like that's definitely like what they did was something amazing.
Right.
And I appreciate them for doing it. But through my own experiences, I really do, because I had to wake up and I got to decide if I'm going to do this film or not.
Right.
And so I generate that inspiration within myself and saying, well, when I do this, what is it that I'm looking forward to experiencing?
Right.
And I think about that and I say, you know what? I got it. I'm going to do it.
So you had all the whys down. You had all the whys, why I'm doing this. Mm-hmm. All of that.
Yep. Not always all the time, but when I get into something, I know why I want to do it.
Right.
And what I want to experience.
That's beautiful, man. Now, with, this paradigm shift that we're in right now, would you say it's individuals are more skeptical on how they approach certain things or how they want to tell a story, but they have to tell it a certain way because of inclusion?
Yeah, I think fear is a really huge thing as far as storytelling, but how I look at it, me telling stories, I love comedians.
Right. So
I tell stories how a comedian would.
Okay.
It draws you in, gets you into the topic, and it allows you to embrace the quote-unquote human aspect of it. Right. Where you don't have to be afraid of, well, am I saying the right thing? Am I offending people?
Right.
Because I'm speaking about things that we know goes on.
Right.
It's not like I'm out here putting, one person down or one person up. These are situations that exist.
Right.
That literally just exist.
Right.
And, with the documentary, human suffering within the Black African American community, those are things that actually exist because of a lot of different other factors.
Now, you had a young lady that did a piece of her story in the documentary and really got emotional and broke down. How hard was that to capture everything?
Well, when I heard that, I started smiling because I'm like, she's about to make everybody cry when they watch this film.
Yeah.
And I just sat there and I watched her. I didn't physically smile at her, but on
Right.
the inside, I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
This is the moment I've been waiting for. I know this film is gonna really impact a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I just sat there and I let her have that space, that moment. And you will see that she goes for it because I just sort of give her that confirmation.
Right.
And she continues to go, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
And when she was done after saying her part, you know, I hugged her and said, I see you.
Yeah.
And really phenomenal. And just even that space,
right.
we all, it got so, it's just like the room, everything all focused on her.
Yeah.
And everybody could feel it.
Yeah.
Even I looked around and I see my assistant director wiping a tear. And this is why we're on set. I'm just like, wow. I'm like, wow.
That's good.
This is about to be it.
Yeah. When you can capture a moment like that, that's beautiful, man. But you now moving into that direction now as a, you know, movie producer, director, stuff like that. That's something that you've tell yourself you're okay with whatever is coming at you. Yeah.
At first I wasn't.
Yeah.
Going into a space, the unknown, right? You have an idea of what you want to do, but you don't know. I don't have any examples physically, tangibly for me to reach out and like, hey, how did you do this?
Mm-hmm.
How did you go on? And when this situation happened, how did you handle this?
Mm-hmm.
In this space of producing films, making films, it's me going out there, learning how to function with different personalities, how to make sure I got the right equipment, the right team put together, and just so that way I can be able to see the product itself, which is the film, to be able to get done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that, I have to make sure I embrace it.
Right.
I'm able to embrace all the different things that come with it, the territory, because again, I can't control how people are going to respond to everything, but I can control how I respond to certain situations. And that's been one of the biggest things is learning to navigate that space when there isn't a blueprint for me. I'm creating my own blueprint to to eventually pass it down to whoever else is looking to do the same thing that I did.
Mm-hmm. Now, growing up, what was your relationship with mom and dad?
So growing up with them, it was unique. It was a unique situation.
Mm.
My mom, we lived together. We got along very well until I got a little bit older, and we didn't have the greatest relationship. My dad, we got along really well.
Yeah.
Wasn't always available to me in moments where I would have probably enjoyed having him available.
Right.
And so, eventually as I grew older, we had those conversations, got past it, and things are moving forward.
Right. Now, how do you balance what you have going on and your son?
So my son actually is just an amazing young man all around the board.
That's beautiful.
And so we spend a lot of quality time together when we get an opportunity to. Yeah. And, even this past summer, I exposed him to a lot of what we were doing with the film.
Mm-hmm.
He was interested. I had him in a television interview with me. He was coming to meetings with me.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to give him that opportunity to see that when you want something, or you desire a certain experience, you can't just wait for it to come to you.
You have to go for it.
You have to go for it. You have to, if you got a meeting at 8 o'clock and you don't get back till 11 o'clock, you got to do that.
You got to do it.
You got to make sure you handle it, or else you're not going to experience that thing.
You ever had people in your life that you feel is taking the energy from you and you had to just remove yourself?
Of course.
Of course. For the listeners that want to know how they deal with that or how they see that, what would you say? What would you tell them?
It's something that I think is important to understand, is that to me there's two ways of life. Mm-hmm. You have a compulsive way. Mm-hmm. You have a conscious way.
Yeah.
And a lot of the compulsion that happens in communities or in people is just generally based on, again, their environment, what they learn. People only do what they know.
That's true.
And so when you're living in a compulsive way, sometimes you don't see how you're affecting other people.
Right.
Because you're doing things just to do it because this is just what you've done.
Right.
But when you're living in a conscious space, you can oftentimes see when people are either hurting themselves or hurting others. And you have to make sure that at some point I take care of me.
Right.
Right. Despite if this person who is being compulsive may feel as though that I don't care about them.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean that. Right. So it's something that I talked about with someone about unconditional love. Right. I hear this thing all the time. I said, to me, in my perspective, there is no such thing as unconditional love because love exists under all conditions.
All condition, yeah.
If you have love, then you have love. Right. Because, it's just the level in which you're expressing it. Right. And so when people say unconditional love, it's because they just want to, hey, you got to love me unconditionally. No, what you're telling me is you want to do stupid stuff. Yeah. And then so you can get away with it. And then I'm supposed to just accept that. No. Yeah. No. I'm gonna love you because if somebody does something that is just, as a societal standard, morally incorrect. Right. Are you still gonna love that person? Right. Are you gonna, when people do things that don't go how you imagine it to be, right, or how you want them to do it, do you still love that person? Right. Right. But if love is present under all conditions, right, then some of those things, that right or that wrong, we'll find ourselves coming more to a space of saying, well, that's just what that person did. It's neither right and or wrong. I just know that it's not a part of the thing that I want to experience, or that others should actually experience in this lifetime.
That's beautiful, man. The title Hush, what made you choose that for the documentary?
I was sitting down playing with the different acronyms, and that one just shot out. Yeah. Help us say help. And it's important because the us is a unification of everyone, because the film is talking about Black America. Right. But in essence, when you watch the film, you start to realize that no matter who you are, right, it could possibly be talking about you. Yeah. And so to see the humanity in those that identify as Black or African American, that's what that us is. Right. Is that we're no different from other people in this country and around the world. Right. It's which is the title of my next book, The We and Us. Right. We have to be able to see the we and us. So help us say help, which is leaning on other people. Right. When you don't have the strength to see a pathway of consciousness to remove yourself from your habitual, from your habits of being compulsive. Right. We need help. It doesn't matter, what you look like. If you can help me get to this different space where I can experience the life that I want to experience, please help me. Right. And that's really what Help Us Say Help is all about.
Some would say introvert find it more challenging to ask for help than extrovert. Would you agree?
My perspective on introvert and extrovert is this: you only do what you know. So if your life has been imposed upon you where you felt as though you couldn't really talk about what you were going through, right, I don't know if that necessarily means that you're an introvert. Right. Maybe it just means that in this particular space of how I deal with my emotions, right, I don't know how to communicate this to other people to get the help that I need. Right. People who go out and they're very, they're very energetic as it relates to, socializing with other people. They may also experience that same thing. Even though I'm out here and I can socialize with people, I was never given the tools, right, or given the information that could help me, or the software, right, to help me understand, okay, this is how I communicate when I'm feeling this. Right. This is how I understand what I'm thinking and how my thoughts transition to my emotions, how my emotions transition to my actions, and how my behavior transitions into my reality. Yeah. And that, in fact, I'm actually able to adjust those things as I see are best fit for me.
I like that. Man. You have a book that it's more of a whole collection of poems. There's one where it seems like you was writing it on the beach. Was you writing it on the beach? Or have you wrote any of those pieces on the beach or in a space like that?
I did. I did. The beach is my place.
Okay.
I go to the beach, and I look at the vastness of the ocean, and of course, people say, oh, the ocean is scary. You don't know what lives down there, but that's how people think about the world too. People think about, just civilization the same way. Oh, we're not going over there. It's scary.
Right.
People who want to go into a particular neighborhood. Oh, something may happen.
Yeah.
People who want to go to a different country, something may happen. People ask me all the time. When I do go certain places, travel by myself, why you do that? You're not scared?
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah.
Why am I afraid of life? We are life. You know that, right?
Right.
And when you think about the vastness of the universe, we don't know what's out there.
Right.
But yet we're here and we're conscious, we're alive, we're living. So what is there to fear about the unknown?
Right.
You go into it, you'll be able to experience whatever it is that's there.
Yeah.
And so that's why I go to the beach a lot.
That's beautiful, man. That's what one place you've visited in the past that you look forward to visiting again?
Place that I visited in the past that I look forward to. It would have to be Lexington, Kentucky.
Ah.
Yeah.
Why?
I enjoyed it just because it was a nice environment.
Yeah.
A lot of great people up there.
Okay.
It was a place that I had never been to.
Right.
And that's one of the places. I'm actually going to be doing the screening tour to head back up there soon anyway. So.
Okay. And I think that's up where they have the Derby as well, isn't it?
Yep.
Man.
Kentucky Derby.
So you've been to quite different spaces in America, like a lot of the states and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've been to Washington, California.
Is it all that it says it is out in California?
California is wild.
Yeah.
From my perspective, I know what Miami looks like.
Right.
But the traffic, I don't know if you ever remember the movie Friday.
Yeah.
When Pops is on the highway.
Right.
That's all I kept thinking about. Like, this is real. I'm like, this is real. Traffic is really like this over here.
Yeah.
And so it's, as far as like the community and people like that, I wasn't able to really interact. I was there just doing a speaking engagement. But I don't know if I move over there.
Yeah.
It's. I think every place has a nice place.
That's true.
Some places that are not so nice.
Yeah. So now, with the documentary already, kind of put a stamp on your craft. What else you feel like you would want to do in that space? Not necessarily a documentary, but on that length as well. So
there's a lot of things that planning to put in motion. Some series that we're going to be creating. Some pilots of some series, as well as a lot of different other independently made films. So it's coming.
That's beautiful.
It's coming.
That's beautiful.
It's a matter of time.
And you've gotten a chance to meet up with a few other entrepreneurs here, and just kind of seeing what that looks like.
Yeah.
What you think they're lacking here in Southwest Florida?
I think in Southwest Florida, man, it's just population density, right? Not a lot of people doing a whole lot of the same thing.
Right.
So when you don't have that, so like say for a metropolitan area like Atlanta,
right,
or Miami, New York, even now, Houston, Dallas, they're becoming some of those places, LA.
Right.
If you don't have a lot of people doing a lot of that,
right,
then you don't see it happening a lot here.
Right. Right.
So the resources are a little bit scarce. However, the resources are scarce, but the opportunity to take advantage of that is absolutely large.
I like that.
And so what I believe I think it goes with any sort of pursuit of an experience, connecting with the right people to put the dots together get the things that you want to experience to happen.
Right.
So as it relates to, creators or entrepreneurs in this area, it's the same thing. Just connecting with the right people that'll help you actually put that together versus saying, I'm going to help you.
Right.
People that are actually devoted to experiencing something with you.
Right.
Because and if I could talk about that, like that's one of the biggest things. Is that a lot of people like, I want to do such X, Y, and Z. They're just thinking about what it would look like and how it would impress people.
Right.
But forget that. Before we get there, we got to experience this together.
Yeah.
How are we going to experience this thing here together in order to create this next thing?
Right.
And people completely forget about that stuff.
Yeah, man. And that's big, man. I think, so you would agree then possibly doing conferences or workshops that just kind of help develop some of the mindsets that are here. Yeah,
and even doing those is really about the individual at that point, because I could do a conference for you 12 months out of the year, or, a workshop 12 months out of the year. And if you don't really want to do it, then there's nothing that I can do for you at that point. It's your responsibility to create the experience that you want to create.
Right. How's the team that you have now that helps you with creating the art that you create?
My team, we are solid, man.
That's beautiful.
We are solid. We're growing. And, like I said, it's a learning process, a learning curve. My very first feature narrative film, feature documentary. And it was a huge learning curve that I definitely appreciated more than back in 2021.
Yeah.
Starting my doctorate program.
Oh, okay.
So I chose, instead of doing my doctorate, I said I'll do the documentary.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So you put doctorate on hold?
No, not even doing it.
Whoa, you stepped away from it.
Yeah, because to me,
and
everybody has, I like to tell people, what you want to experience doesn't have to be what I want to experience.
Right.
So people, say, man, Antwon, if you get the doctorate, you'll be able to connect with this person, that person, that person.
Right.
But how does getting that doctorate lead me towards what I want to experience with this documentary?
Right.
So I got the doctorate, been in higher education.
Yeah.
Further away from what I want to experience with the documentary.
Right.
Doing the documentary, I've been able to connect with more people in that path of what I want to experience with the documentary.
Right.
So I chose that I don't need the doctorate for this documentary.
That's beautiful.
The documentary is going to provide me with everything that I want and need as long as I continue to go that way.
Yeah.
The doctorate would have just been a distraction and would have prolonged me from doing something that I actually wanted to do.
Right.
And we have a limited amount of time on this planet called Earth.
This is
and
true.
I want to do what I want to do.
Oh, yeah, man. I totally agree with you, man. And it's beautiful, man, and I've seen you work. I've read your books and stuff like that, and I'm really impressed, man. And, I think you have a whole lot that you're going to be bringing to the table, bro. Man. So, listen, people. You heard Antwon. He just created a story right here on EHAS CLUB, right here on Stories to Create podcast. Antwon, thank you for being on the show.
Appreciate you for having me, bro.
Hey, man, my dude, man. This is beautiful, man. Listen, guys, it's a whole lot coming, and we won't tell you guys a lot of what's coming yet until you guys start seeing what's happening. But until the next Stories to Create podcast, where we have another interesting guest, guys, right here is your boy, Cornell Bunting.